Hi everyone, it's Tara and welcome back to Tea for Tara. Today I'm reviewing Ariana Grande's brand new album, Petal. And yes, the album is called Petal, like one little petal from a flower. Not the entire flower, just one petal. But there is definitely a lot of music packed into that one little petal. I was excited to hear this album because Ariana Grande has been making music for a long time, and her sound has changed a lot over the years. So, is Petal just another Ariana Grande album, or does it show us a completely different side of her? I think it definitely shows us a different side. First of all, I really like the name Petal. A flower petal seems soft, small, and delicate, but flowers can also grow in difficult places. That idea fits the music because many of these songs sound gentle and beautiful, but underneath that gentleness, there are some very strong emotions. This album feels softer, calmer, and more mysterious than some of Ariana's older albums. But when I say calmer, I do not mean boring. This is not an album that is going to put you to sleep, unless you listen to it at 3 o'clock in the morning while lying in bed, which is your own fault. There is actually a lot happening in the background. You can hear quiet electronic beats, dreamy harmonies, strange little sounds, and layers of Ariana's voice floating in and out of the music. Sometimes her voice almost sounds like another instrument. It feels like the kind of album you should listen to with headphones because you might notice something new every time. Ariana's older albums often had enormous pop songs with huge choruses and extremely powerful high notes. On an album like Dangerous Woman, Ariana sounded bold, confident, and dramatic. Some of those songs seem designed to make you immediately say, okay, this person can really sing. Then, on albums like Sweetener and Thank You Next, she started experimenting more. She combined pop music with R&B, trap beats, emotional lyrics, and unusual production. Those albums sometimes felt sad, funny, honest, and playful all at the same time. Positions had a smoother R&B sound, while Eternal Sunshine was a polished and emotional pop album about love, relationships, memories, heartbreak, and moving forward. But Petal feels different from all of them. On this album, Ariana does not seem interested in constantly reminding us how powerful her voice is. She does not need to remind us. We already know. She could probably sing a grocery list and somehow turn it into a giant emotional ballad. Milk, eggs, bananas, and don't forget the bread! But on Petal, she often sings in a quieter and more controlled way. Her voice sometimes feels extremely close, as though she is singing directly beside you. Instead of performing on a giant stage, there are still beautiful harmonies, vocal runs, and high notes, but she uses them more carefully. I think that shows how Ariana has evolved as an artist. When some singers are younger, they might feel that they have to show everything they can do in every single song. But now, Ariana seems confident enough to hold something back. She understands that a whisper can sometimes have just as much emotion as a giant high note. One song I really enjoyed is Hate That I Made You Love Me. Even the title is interesting. It sounds romantic, sad, angry, guilty, and a little confusing all at the same time. It is the type of title that makes you stop and think, wait, what exactly happened here? The song has a soft and dreamy sound, but you can feel tension underneath it. Ariana's singing is controlled and delicate, and the music leaves plenty of open space around her voice. The song does not hit you over the head with its message. It slowly pulls you into its mood. I also think the title could have more than one meaning. It could be about a romantic relationship, but it might also connect to Ariana's complicated relationship with fame and the people who watch everything she does. When millions of people feel connected to you, that attention can feel loving, strange, and overwhelming. Sometimes all on the same day. Another song that stood out to me is Big Feelings. And honestly, that is a perfect song title because I think most of us have big feelings sometimes. You might be perfectly happy one minute, and then someone eats the snack you were saving, and suddenly your entire life has fallen apart. This song has more drama and personality. It also has a slightly theatrical feeling, which makes sense because Ariana has spent so much time performing as Glinda in Wicked. You can hear that influence in the way she uses her voice. She is not only singing the notes, she is acting through the song. Her voice changes depending on the emotion, and it sometimes feels like she is playing a character while still being herself. I really like that mixture. The entire album also feels more experimental than some of her previous music. Some songs include electronic sounds that feel cloudy, distorted, or slightly unusual. Other moments are influenced by R&B, soft pop, and even a little jazz. Ariana has not completely abandoned her original style. Her layered harmonies are still here. Her beautiful vocal tone is still here. Her catchy melodies are still here. But everything feels slightly less shiny and perfect. The music sometimes feels rougher around the edges. And I think that is intentional. It matches the idea of a delicate petal growing through something cold and hard. There is beauty in the music, but that beauty is surrounded by darker and rougher sounds. I also like the way the album is arranged. It feels less like a random collection of songs and more like one complete emotional experience. The songs belong together and create a consistent atmosphere from beginning to end. Some listeners might miss the enormous pop choruses of songs like Into You, Problem, or No Tears Left to Cry. This album does not always try to give us those immediate, explosive moments, but I think that is part of what makes Petal interesting. Ariana has already made those kinds of songs, and she could probably continue repeating them forever. Instead, she is allowing her music to become quieter, stranger, more personal, and more grown up. She is asking listeners to slow down and really pay attention. My overall opinion is that Petal is a beautiful and thoughtful album. It might not be Ariana Grande's loudest album, but it could be one of her most detailed. It shows us an artist who is still changing and still discovering new ways to use her voice. The album feels soft without feeling weak, emotional without becoming too dramatic, and experimental without completely losing the Ariana Grande sound that her fans love. My favorite tracks right now are Hate That I Made You Love Me and Big Feelings, although that could change after I listen to the album a few more times. And for my final rating, I am giving Petal 4.5 petals out of 5. Yes, we are rating this album in petals. Stars are officially taking the day off. I definitely recommend listening to the album with headphones because there are so many little sounds and harmonies hidden inside the music. Have you listened to Ariana Grande's new album? Do you like her quieter and more experimental sound? Or do you prefer her older, bigger pop songs? And what is your favorite song from Petal? Tell me in the comments. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to T for Tara, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss my next review. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Tara out for now.